The best ball regular season is over, but Underdog Fantasy is guaranteed that there's still millions to play for. We have 50K to first, 200K to first, many different ways to win these contests, and that is what we plan on doing. I'll be joined by Pat Kerrane today. We're going to fire up the Sidekick. We're going to draft some playoff best ball teams, and we are going to solve the answer once and for all. Is there a big 5 quarterbacks, or do we need to expand our thinking? It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. You know what? I think Sacrilegious might have convinced me, Pat. I think so.
Offline, like in the 10 minutes between us jumping off ADP, pasting it onto here, he like won an argument. I think we were gonna say he was wrong online, and then he convinced us in Discord that we were actually wrong.
If you watched the video last week, Sack and I did these drafts, and we more or less concluded that when you draw the 101 in playoff drafts, the risk of not getting one of the 5 quarterbacks with the greatest amount of Super Bowl probability, which would be Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, we concluded the right thing to do at that time was to take Josh Allen at the 101. Now, 2 things have changed. Really, the Bills are not going to get the bye now. It would be sort of the Chiefs would have to do something crazily stupid. It would have to be pretty crazy for the Bills to get I believe the most places have them about 80% to get the bye. And I think the markets are now just a little bit like, well, maybe the Bills are not as good as we thought. Because that was kind of I know Josh Allen scored a bazillion points against the Rams yesterday, but just like a pretty bad loss where the defense just looks horrible.
Yeah, the defense,
They got one stop. They got one stop the entire game. And then on top of that, the other thing, and this is where I disagree with the market is now assigning a real probability for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the Super Bowl. I think their conference championship odds, Pat, are
this is where I disagree with Sack, I think.
Yeah.
About how to build. But maybe we don't disagree as much as I was thinking. But I have no faith in the Steelers. I don't want them to be a big. I don't want the Steelers making the Super Bowl to be a big part of my playoff best ball bet this year. I don't mind it being a part because they're well priced. It's a plausible outcome. We said that the Bills don't have a defense, the Ravens don't have a defense, the Chiefs are looking very fraudulent, and so it could just be like one of those years where remember when the Colts beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. It could just be one of those years where the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl, and someone's going to kind of limp in. Is kind of the best of the worst.
Well, that would be the Steelers. The Steelers, that would be the Steelers' path. So the Steelers' path would be the Chiefs are as bad as it gets, as bad as everyone thinks they are. They just can't score points. Kelsey can't get open, can't turn it on in the playoffs the way he did last year. And then I guess the Bills' defense just is no good against the Broncos, maybe. I guess the Ravens. The Ravens beating the.
So let's talk through the seeding. What's the current NFL seeding right now?
I have no idea.
AFC NFL playoff seeding.
So right now, as it stands, the Chiefs are the 1 seed. Baltimore and Houston play in the first round. The Chargers and Pittsburgh play in the first round, and Denver and Buffalo play in the first round on the AFC side. So you think
the
Buffalo
Steelers beat the Chargers
win.
Steelers beat the Chargers in the grossest game I've ever seen. The Ravens beat the Texans in a fun shootout. It's a run heavy slog. Bills beat the Broncos. Okay, so chalk wins, and we go to round 2. Then the Bills play the Steelers, and the Chiefs play the Ravens. So can the Steelers beat the Bills? You could imagine. The Steelers kind of, some moon balls. There's some well-timed sacks.
I can imagine
in Buffalo.
I can imagine almost anything happening with the Bills, really. I can imagine anything from the Bills don't break a sweat getting to the Super Bowl against the Lions to it all turns for them at the worst moment. The defense can't get a stop. Josh Allen throws a lateral to Ray Davis. Ray Davis is not able to secure it. And it's like, remember that to me, the signature Josh Allen play will always be the 60-yard bomb in his first playoff game to the fullback. Then, to me, that is he's just out there making stuff happen. And I don't even mean that in a negative way, by the way.
That's yesterday. He's just putting the team on his back.
He's just putting the team absolutely on his back. I will say the team I am most woke to drafting, I think I've done like 5 or 6 today that I was not huge on when I started drafting them last week, is the Vikings. I think what I'm going to do is instead of doing Steelers backstacks, I'm going to start doing Vikings backstacks, because the Vikings have everything the Steelers have, where they're really good in all the advanced metrics. They have a very good coach. They have a quarterback who no one believes in, but they have a great defense and a great dude, that defense against Jared Goff. I mean, why can't that defense in a playoff game not just beat the shit out of Jared Goff?
I think the Vikings are live to make the Super Bowl.
Completely.
The Packers are live to make the Super Bowl. Those teams feel like much more like teams to me than the Steelers. Like the Steelers, I don't know. I guess I don't really believe in the Steelers defense. It has a good pass rush. It's a good defense, not an amazing defense in my opinion. And then I'm having a hard time fully buying into this Russ revival. It's certainly been impressive, but just feels like a trap. Like, okay, so the Steelers are beating the Bills. Now they're going to Kansas City. I mean, frankly, even if they don't go to Kansas City and they travel to Baltimore, I'm pretty nervous about both, right? Like,
right.
So the Ravens would come to the Steelers, not the other way around.
Yeah.
But you'd have they go to Kansas City or the Ravens come to them. I don't love the Steelers in either of those games.
I don't love the Steelers in any permutation. I don't love the Steelers against the Chargers. I don't love the Steelers against anyone. I just like, if that is what beats me in playoff baseball this year, then that is, you can't cover every combination. You only have 150 teams.
The reason we're talking about this is if you're in the 101, Saquon is the 101 right now. And we don't want to be fading Saquon. He's, got, like, it could be, not that the way these games work, right? Like, he doesn't even need to be the high scoring Eagle. You just need to be able to cover the other points. So if you can cover Hurts's points reasonably well with another quarterback, and then Barkley's crushing the opposing running backs, the 2v2 might be, like a Hurts Pacheco versus Mahomes Saquon. I think we want the Mahomes Saquon there. Or at least I do not want to be fading that hard. So in order to get Saquon, you kind of got to take him at the 101 right now. But you end up in the situation where if Mahomes doesn't come back, it might be Goff, but now you're betting against Saquon to make the Super Bowl by taking Goff. Or you don't get a quarterback at all in the second at the 2-3 turn, and you're left scrambling and trying to bet on another team to make it. So you've got 2 choices. You can either bet on the Steelers, who are the most likely AFC team outside the top guys. Or you have 3 choices. You could bet on like the Texans or one of these long shots that are a little more fun to dream on.
I want to be done doing the Texans stuff.
I think I'm done though. I'm thinking out on that.
I think I'm good moving the Steelers ahead, because I'm just like, dude, I don't know what the permutations would have to be, but if the Steelers and the Texans play, buddy, the Steelers are winning that game.
By the odds and stuff, they're way ahead. They're way ahead. So you don't want to. So that's the worst option. The other option is to bet on the Packers or the Vikings.
And I like that so much better.
But the problem is you're betting against Saquon.
Well, there certainly is a path. I mean, we've seen this several years where like Jake Ferguson, very good example of this, where like Jake Ferguson was on a bunch of the winning teams. He was like the number one advance rate guy. Like there's no reason Barkley can't be great advance rate guy. The Eagles lose in the divisional round, and that's that. You know,
that's certainly possible.
He can serve his purpose, and then he wipes out a bunch of other top 15 picks anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That's certainly possible, but I think I'd almost rather have Allen in that world. I think I'd rather have Allen,
right?
Because Barkley's gone. Now I'm less like if Barkley was the guy who advances everybody. A lot of my Allen teams aren't going to advance, but the ones that do are going to have one of the most important players alive, and all the Barkley teams are going to be dead to win the tournament, or at least not dead, but like they just lost their first overall pick. Between like a Ferguson was like a 7th round pick or something last year, maybe 6th. So it's just a tricky spot. The 1-on-1 is a really tricky spot. I think the move is probably to take Barkley most of the time because you can get Mahomes with him. But if I'm like never getting, if I'm in these drafts and I'm not getting Mahomes, I think I'm flipping and taking Allen. Like I'll capitulate and take Allen if I don't get any Barkley Mahomes, because I just don't want to have a big stand in my portfolio be that like a 1/6 of the time the Steelers are making the Super Bowl. Like, nope, I'm not.
That's the thing. I want to have some Steelers teams just because of this. Yeah. I don't want to get ready to learn Mike Tomlin. Although, to be clear, people always say things like this. Let me go ahead and read to you. Since the end of the Obama administration, these are the Steelers playoff results: lost divisional, miss playoff, lost wild card, miss playoff, lost wild card. Yeah. So it's not like
I'm ready to learn Mike Tomlin. That sounds great for me if I'm dating the Steelers. Mike Tomlin seems ideal. Obviously they've made 2 Super Bowls and won both. Is that right?
Now we should be clear about our proclivities, which is that if Justin Fields was somehow if Justin Fields was the quarterback of the Steelers, the cabal would be fighting for Steelers stacks in round 2. I mean, look, you're not wrong.
I don't think I would be pushing for Justin Fields. Like, I don't have that much Justin Fields actually in best ball. I just really did not think what happened would happen, which is the Russell Wilson.
I do have a lot of Justin Fields in best ball, which now that I think about it, taking a backup quarterback seems kind of fucked up, doesn't it? Like maybe should not have done that.
Yeah, but I have too much Drake May to have a ton of Fields.
My AFC bets, basically, if you try and cover all the combos, I think you just end up having a lot of. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Like I don't want to be too narrow. I would say 90% of the time, I just want to be doing, for my AFC part, I just want to have Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills. It's just so hard for me to imagine one of those 3 quarterbacks not being the AFC representative.
Well, yeah, the thing is the Ravens don't have that good of odds. So the Ravens, if you look at, just pulled up the futures for the AFC, this is to win the AFC and be the Super Bowl representative. DraftKings, Chiefs plus 160, Bills plus 280, Ravens plus 475, Steelers plus 800. If we go to the NFC side, Lions plus 135, Eagles plus 265, Vikings plus 800. So you have like the Ravens are kind of this like no man's land where it's like Lions, Eagles, Bills, Chiefs are making up a lot of the probability.
You could definitely argue the Ravens are being overrated by the playoff market. And being overrated. They're being overrated in ADP relative to their playoff odds. And that Nez's point about the Steelers being pretty close to them in both conference championship. Basically, in conference championship odds, the Steelers and the Ravens are very close to each other.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm going to have some of the Steelers stuff, and it makes sense. Like having the Steelers builds with Barkley, those teams could like be pretty sick if the Steelers make it.
I drafted 3 Russell Wilson teams this morning, so I'm not meaning to say that I want none of it.
It's just like right now, you're just going to get it. You're going to get it so often. It's just going to be like a huge stand. That's where I'm like, whoa. Like this can't be my only move. Like I'm trying to think of another move other than.
I'm just at the thing is I was so doing the Chargers Texans things when I had the early AFC stuff, and I'm like, dude, you know what? The Steelers are better than the Chargers and the Texans. I don't even have to do any mental gymnastics for me to tell myself that the Steelers are a better football team. The Chargers are just bereft of talent. They're well coached, but they are just completely bereft of talent. Like watching that game, I watched the first half of the Sunday night game, and I'm just like, what is the plan here?
Yeah,
like, it's so bad. All right, let's take the Sidekick for a ride. Let's load up some drafts. You guys will have to excuse me. We can only use it on Firefox right now, so my Windows is wonky relative to how it. Wow, instant fill, and we get
nice.
we get the 104. So this is all going to be. It's gonna be that was all an elementary or that was all a mental masturbation conversation that's not gonna apply to what we're about to do.
Well, yeah, but good. The 101 is like it's tough to even say like
the 101 is bad.
It's bad. Like you can do the Allen thing, but one of the big points Zach was making was like the Allen teams that you build out of the 101 are probably gonna be worse than the Allen teams that people are building out the 103.
So that was the point. Let me just read the point he made because it was very convincing. Sack said, Allen, you can get at the 102 and the 103. Philadelphia has better Super Bowl odds than Buffalo, so you don't want to fade Saquon. When you take Allen 101, you are unlikely to get the strongest combinations with him. Allen and AJ Brown, very rare but possible. Allen and Montgomery. If you're just jamming Allen, Cook, and then Jameson Williams, you're going to be bummed out in the final when you run into the Allen Montgomery. And you could theoretically, like, there are going to be Allen Gibbs teams out there. Like there is going to be stuff like that. And here we go. We get to select Jalen Hurts. Unless you want to do AJ Brown first.
I think Hurts. I think getting one of these top quarterbacks is good.
Yeah.
And Lamar the reason that the Sidekick is pushing up Hurts because Lamar's gone.
Right.
There's kind of like a quarterback run element that affects every team. Now you're going to get one of them, because the one hole went Barkley.
Yeah.
So we could have gone Amon-Ra and then gone Mahomes as well. That would have been fine.
Yeah, there is also, by the way, there are a couple guys who are in these streets auto drafting right now, and they're killing the rooms. Like I just like a guy took Goff and Mahomes at the turn or whatever. So be careful. Which you definitely, by the way, you want those guys in the pool, but you don't want them in your drafts. You want them. You want them in the pool, but you don't want them in your drafts because they might ruin your combos. Now, I've got a little bit of a controversial take here. Sometimes when you start Hurts, I like passing on AJ Brown. Just to set up the elite other skill position player from the AFC. AJ Brown is who we will take here. But sometimes I do like taking Henry. Sometimes I do like taking James Cook just to set up the Jalen Hurts has the 3 tush pushes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think I'm more into Henry than like Sacramento seems pretty certain that the Ravens are overrated, and I think generally he's right, but like Henry seems fine to me in the second because like if they go on a run, he's likely to be such like a high scoring part of that run. I want to make this strategy point just before I forget it. We don't have to do this at all. We can take Gainwell, we can take Ty Johnson, right?
We could take Kareem Hunt, we can take Pirine. This is, I think, the wrong way to think about these games.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of the running backs drying up. That is a thing, but like Hunt's a fine pick. I'm not that worried about it.
Pirine is playing all the long down and distance and 2-minute drill stuff, even with Pacheco back. He played, I think, only 6 fewer snaps. I just had the snaps up. He played 6 fewer snaps than Hunt last night. You can make an argument that it's actually better. You might prefer Pirine actually to Hunt for the way the games might be in the playoffs, where Hunt's role really diminishes because Pacheco is getting healthy, and Perrine is in the McKinnon role.
Yeah. Pacheco's also been falling, at least before yesterday, he was falling a bit. So I don't mind pushing him.
Yes. Even if the Colts can make the playoffs, I am not. You can't make me draft Anthony Richardson in a playoff draft. I would rather have any Steelers permutation than whoever the 7 seed is in the AFC is gonna be such a loser. There we go. We get Pacheco anyway.
Pacheco, baby.
Yeah.
That's a smash.
Pacheco, by the way, I have very little of him in the way too early wild card stuff because I was like, dude, this freaking leg injury, man. This is the leg injury that killed Mark Andrews. This is the leg injury that killed Tony Pollard. That is wrong. He looks fine. He's gonna have the same role in the playoffs that he had last year.
Yeah, I think like the historical anomalies noting Hunt not really have much of a role. Perrine's not appealing. Gainwell's not appealing. But I think the thing is like you can bet on one of these running backs to like get to the conference championship game, and then you're hoping you get to the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
And you have a running back who's like going to get you like a few points. Like it's not a 0.
Gainwell and Justice Hill, and like Cam Akers, Ty Johnson. These are like the most important guys in the pool just because of this thing you guys are saying where you are going to be passing up these high scoring running backs. I like taking Flowers here. It's interesting that the Sidekick.
Nuke. Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Well, I actually would have said Flowers anyway because I think this is too. And I like Flowers over Shakir because of this argument I'm about to make. I think for the AFC teams, for the Bills and the Chiefs, Aren't the not.
Ravens more likely to play the Chiefs in round 2, though? They're not as good of pairing as the Bills.
I have not gotten there. Honestly, I don't have that stuff memorized yet. We can take Shakir. But the point I'm making is actually more of a macro point than the strategic, which Sack would probably tell me is I'm losing some EV there. But Flowers in any game the Ravens play is going to project for a lot more points than Hopkins and Shakir. Like consider like almost like probably like 3 or 4 points more. And you could get a spike out of Keon Coleman. You can get a spike out of Dalton Kincaid. I mean, God forbid, Dalton Kincaid is like wide receiver 30 in this now. You can get a spike out of Noah Gray, Hollywood Brown. Like I think those guys are. So I like getting Flowers when we're setting up because we're going to take Gainwell on this team. So I like taking Flowers more just because in the scenarios where he gets there, we are getting more actual raw points. But that might be structurally thinking about it wrong.
The thing is that you can still add, like we still have a 4th team in the NFC. So if we want to add like, we could go to the Commanders, we could go to the Packers, we could go to the Vikings and add like a piece that's going to score points. We can do that. Like we could take Aaron Jones here. It's tougher to find the higher scoring players on the teams that are likely to be in the Super Bowl than it is to find players who will score points early in the tournament.
Yeah. It's one of those things where this game is more about math than it is about like knowing ball or anything like that. But and I obviously so much of this is unknown too because we don't know the matchups.
Jones goes, okay.
That is annoying. I really do not want to take Dalton Kincaid. I would prefer Andrews instead.
We can't take Andrews because we took that's a 3rd AFC. So we should go. We should go Worthy if we want to go.
Yeah, let's do that because the Bills guys are available.
That's fine.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not think Perrine is a 0. I actually think Perrine should probably now be ranked ahead of Hunt, given the distribution of touches that we saw last night. Doesn't it seem that Hunt is going to come to be the Pacheco backup?
Yeah.
He's more of a He's more of a back. Yeah. How do you feel about doing this on the same side of the conference? Like, do 3 Packers, 3 Eagles. Would you ever do Jordan Love on a Jalen Hurts team?
I think maybe I would, because the Eagles are so concentrated. Right? Yeah. It's like, I think generally that's not a good thing to do, but like, because the Eagles are so concentrated, maybe it's viable.
It's something that like is definitely it's one of those things where obviously it's negative EV for like the Super Bowl, like
right.
having 2 quarterbacks who don't have a bye, like Hurts and Love, but it feels like one, it helps your advantage. Like, let's say you do the 3 Eagles, you get let's say you get Barkley, Hurts. Do you want to do Hollywood or Oh no, we need Goddard here, right? Or do we take Calcaterra? When do we think he's?
We could take Goddard. Goddard's hard to price right now because you don't know when he's getting back.
I think we do Goddard just for number reasons, like for the math reasons, just to make the Super Bowl lineup work. So let's say you set up a Chief stack. You take the 3 good Eagles, then you take Hopkins, Worthy, and then you end with Pirine, and then you do that with Love, Watson, and Jacobs. So you've got the 3 Eagles, you got the 3 Packers, you have 3 Chiefs, and then I don't know, add in. I guess you'd add a 4th Chief, right? So you'd add a 4th Chief, and you'd say if the Packers make the Super Bowl or if the Eagles will make the Super Bowl, I've got the matchup, and I'm going to advance this team at a higher rate than a bunch of my other teams in a sim because I've got 2 quarterback scores to choose from.
Yeah, and the advantage you have with the Packers there is that they're very likely to play the Lions because they're the 6th seed right now, where the Commanders are the only team that would have to win to go play the Lions. So you're not going through the Eagles, most likely.
Yeah.
So the Packers probably make the most sense. The Vikings are the 5th seed. But like the Packers are very live to win in round 1, so the Vikings are more likely to play. Now that could flip, but as it stands today, the Packers are more likely to avoid the Eagles in round 2 than the.
And that stuff really matters, which is like I can't keep that in my head. I'm not there yet. So this is why I've really been liking drafting with the with the Sidekick.
Although if the Commanders win, then the Eagles have lost because the Commanders are set to play the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman. So there we go. We have 2 Bills. We have this team really does not work without Gainwell. So
we need Gainwell, and then we probably need like a round 1 advance rate running back. Help get us through.
There's a very sneaky guy. Very, very sneaky NFC running back who I think is going to potentially be the skeleton key for playoff best ball 2024. This is the type of bet I like making right now. I like betting on Bucky Irving and the Buccaneers to be the division. Josh knew it before I even said it. Yeah, it's Bucky and the Buccaneers, I think.
I'm down.
Now, I think this is clearly Gainwell here because mathematically this team does not. We have to take him.
I think we should probably have Gainwell a little higher in the list. I'm talking to Sack, but that from adding value and making the best version of the team, taking Hollywood is probably the play. But from a don't drop the baby.
But the cost, the cost of missing Gainwell is you then actually what you have to do if you don't get Gainwell on this team, what you have to do is you have to pivot and you have to take 2 more AFC. You have to take Ty Johnson and you have to take maybe even another AFC running back, and then you have to take like Johnny Wilson or Grant Calcaterra or whatever. Just for Super Bowl reasons.
Right. Yeah, I think we're just gonna increase his ranking, to be honest.
And it's so funny because obviously Kenneth Gainwell is like not a fantasy relevant player, really, but his 1.2 points in the Super Bowl could very easily be the difference between you getting 17th place and first place, literally, if in that scenario. Gainwell, Justice Hill, Pirine types matter much more in the 1 seed versus 1 seed years, like the 2022 Super Bowl, the Eagles Chiefs, when they were both 1 seeds, that they were very, very important. And in fact, I want to say, oh, you know what? No, I'm really tilting because I was able to field the full team that year. But one of the players that I was able to field the full team with was Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And he generated 0 points in the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. Yeah. James, salute to you. Biggest Saquon Barkley fan I know. I did see this. I did see the video of Calcaterra's family celebrating his touchdown. That was as his foremost backer.
Hollywood, pretty nice here.
Hollywood made it all the way around. The Eagles, basically drawing dead for the 1 seed is so nice for these contests, not having to spend another pick on a quarterback.
Yeah, it is nice.
Now, I think, Kerrane, your intuition is right. I think the better move here is an advance rate running back as opposed to another Super Bowl guy.
This is one of the things that you kind of got to use your risk tolerance and just this is a ball knower element you can kind of add here where how good do you feel about your running back in round 1? And right here, we feel pretty bad. If you get to the Super Bowl, you're going to be much happier to have a Ty Johnson or a Ray Davis because that guy will potentially be.
But you got to get there.
Yeah, but you got to get there. I think Gainwell's a bad enough round 1 running back. I'd rather just take Robinson or Irving, and I'm totally fine taking either one.
Let's do Bucky. Yes, I can explain why Gainwell is so important when you have Pacheco. Because if Kansas City loses in the conference championship, we're dust. We don't have a running back. But if the Bills beat them in that game, then we have a full lineup and we have Gainwell.
Right. It creates a second viable Super Bowl matchup because you get Hurts, Goddard, AJ Brown, Coleman, Shakir. So we have 5 players, but we don't have a running back. Right. So you're hurting because you're taking a 0 at one of the 5 spots. It's nice to have an extra shot at a flex, right? We're overloaded actually with the Bills Super Bowl. If we just take Gainwell, now we're live for Bills, Eagles or Chiefs Eagles. Either way, we're good. If we don't take Gainwell, then we're really, really rooting for the Chiefs. Now we're still rooting for the Chiefs because Pacheco is a much stronger piece for us, but you want to have the back doors. You want to have the back doors,
yeah. We're gonna do a few of these. I don't know how long Kerrane has, but I'm gonna hang out for at least an hour or so.
Yeah, I'm good.
And I'm doing the mitten, by the way. 1, because I'm max entering the mitten and I'm not gonna max enter the gauntlet. And 2, there is a user right now auto drafting in the gauntlet that you do not, his screen name is opt out, and you do not want to be drafting against someone who's auto drafting off of ADP. Their teams are dead, but they are going to ruin your teams. We do get the 101 here, so we can do this. And then Stefan asked this question: does Kerrane ever draft 2? So basically, only drafting 2 teams of opposing conference. You draft 5 Bills players, 5 Packers players, 5 Bills, 5 Vikings, 5 Chiefs, 5 Lions. Or I guess that you wouldn't want to do that. Ravens, Packers. Do you ever do that?
I think that's totally fine. I think in some ways you want to do that if you're betting on the 2s to make it, right? If we got Cook in the 3rd on that team, then I might be more inclined just to bet the Bills and the Eagles to just make both are in high scoring run to the Super Bowl, because this is now we're in the question that we talked about at the top. Do we want to take Saquon?
let's just do it and see what happens. Let's just do it, and we can maybe we'll end up making the Steelers fans in chat happy.
So the thing about those teams is it's going to be easy to advance Eagles and Bills to the Super Bowl if they're both the 2 seed and they both, are scoring points on the way there. That's going to be you're going to show up to the Super Bowl, and there's going to be a bunch of teams with a bunch of live players. So now you're looking for differentiating players. Like you basically want as many shots as possible to have the right Bills and the right Eagles, because there's going to be a lot of guys. If it's Lions, Chiefs, and both of those have the 1 seed, now we're in a situation where even having 5 guys, like you're saying on ADP chasing, like the Chiefs might make the Super Bowl and score no points on the way. Yep. So it could be very difficult.
I would say that's probably the most likely path for the Chiefs making the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So you're in kind of a tough spot trying to get Chiefs to the Super Bowl, in the first place. So that makes it less like when you show up, and if it's Chiefs Lions, both have the 1, you show up with five players total from both teams, you're probably already looking at like a top 20 type of team.
Here we go. We got to eat the shit.
Oh God.
We better learn.
And Montgomery goes, which is kind of a bummer. Let's take Smith.
Yes. So you take Smith. And then I actually think, so I think what you do here is not this. I think you opt and you go the other way. I think you take Jameson Williams, and then you set it up to take the Chargers, the Texans, the Russ, whoever. Yeah. But you don't take the AFC player there. You don't take the AFC player whose quarterback you can't get for sure, I think. What's the likelihood of the winning lineup getting duped in a 90 entry contest? If it's 1 seed versus 1 seed, it's way lower than you think.
It's way lower.
If it's Chiefs Lions, way lower than you think. If the 1 seeds get eliminated or the 1 seeds don't make it, I don't know. It's like 90% or something. Like it's just. It's
there was a train last year. Last year there was like a full on train that won.
Yeah, the winners got 19K. I want to say last year it was a super chop. But yeah,
and that was only with one seed getting knocked out. The 49ers were the 1 seed. So that's imagine if it was two seeds. It could get, and that's where mixing it up and taking.
Should never take 3 quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks is super dust. Yeah.
Because of the firepower that you lose in the final round, where all the money is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like the money is paid out in the final round. You have to score a bunch of points in the final round. And it's not like you want to score some points. Like you need to score like a lot of points. You need to score the most points.
This is a really good point. Chiefs Niners was like the easiest thing to do last year. It was so easy. Super easy, super common. Their picks were super evident.
And you could pair it with that. I won the Big Mitten last year. I paired it with Brandon Cooks and Jake Ferguson.
Yep.
You just go. It was like right out of the one hole. You just you got McCaffrey. You got all the Chiefs. You get the 2 guys or 1 guy in Ferguson. But you take a little thing on. You take the second NFC team. They didn't even win a game, but they had the massive score from that game. So you get the advance rate element. You get your 49ers through, and then you're just fucking rolling. From that point.
Also, yes, last year it was like super, like you could have almost auto drafted you wouldn't have auto drafted Jennings, but you could have auto drafted CMC, Kelsey, Mahomes.
The team made itself. Okay. Yeah.
So it wants us to take Nico.
I think we take Pickens.
I think we take Pickens, although he does have a hamstring injury that seems like it's going to be multi-week. So that is worth noting. I think we take Pickens. Now, I think the other thing we do, though.
See, it's this. I do like this about it. It just now Najee. Now it's like, go ahead though. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Najee, or we do Mixon. That gives us an advance rate piece, and then at the next turn we can do Russ and Stroud to give us the double out. That's something I'm thinking about. Charlie. I believe Charlie was the man who finished second behind you in Best Ball Mania 3, Kerrane. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
But I appreciate you. You're a good man. Is this the sweet spot as far as time to draft? Are you just drafting early because you're draft addicts? A little bit of both.
We don't know yet. I know we don't know yet.
So no, we do know. What we do know is you want to draft a little bit each week.
That's right. Right.
I don't
That's what
think
I mean.
Third behind Kerrane. Sorry, not to twist the knife. But yeah, the sweet spot to draft is you want to do a group every week. You want to, the field's really low on the Bills because they just lost to the Rams. Oh, the field's really low. The field's really low on the Chiefs because they suck.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
That we don't know. What I mean is we don't know when the best time to draft will be. It will seem obvious
later.
in retrospect because you're like, that was the best week because that's when you could get, this team was still undervalued and people didn't realize that, the pairings worked best or whatever, right? So I think you want to spread out your entries, but this is still like a good time to draft. I mean, stuff like the Steelers is like uncomfortable now, but like imagine if it gets expensive.
Well, right now, great team to draft. Packers. No one wants the Packers right now. Everyone wants the Steelers right now. No one wants the Packers because the Packers lost on Thursday night. I mean, look, Pickens just got injured. There's still 4 games for these. Justin Herbert last night, I thought he got smoked. I thought like you're not gonna. Yeah, no one wants Jaden Reed right now. I mean, it's a great example. Great examples of why you'd want to be drafting right now. I really like the Packers. I really like the Packers and the Vikings more than the field.
Me too.
We are gonna.
It's just tough because the early picks are we need lotto ticket teams from the AFC, not the NFC.
I disagree with this. It wants us to take Kincaid. I think that's a bad allocation of capital. Don't you?
I agree. I think we need to.
Wouldn't you rather take another AFC quarterback to set up for the potential Philadelphia Super Bowl? Wouldn't you rather take
Freiermuth?
I bet because we have Russ and Najee. I bet we can get him. I think we take Stroud and then we take Tank Dell or Schultz or whoever.
I don't love the Stroud move, but like a naked Stroud.
It's not going to be naked Stroud. We're gonna have Dell or Schultz, right? And then that's set up.
I think I'd rather just keep betting on like Warren or Freiermuth and just kind of finish it out.
That right there what I just did right there is classic bad gambling. This is just being way too risk averse. Being like,
we just make the bet.
I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose this entry, dude.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's going to save my and probably the Steelers and the Texans are going to there's like some probability of them playing each other. That was probably
right. And the Sidekick is pushing it to Bills because they're likely to win games and get there. They're also unlikely. No, they're actually decently likely to play the Steelers. So from that perspective, they're not great.
I think that Kincaid was not the pick, but Stroud was also not the pick. I think the other thing we could have done actually that maybe would have been better would have been to start a Packers or Vikings stack and do 3 Steelers, 3 Eagles, and then 4 of one of those teams. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think going to a 4th team from the NFC because we're dependent on the Steelers making the Super Bowl. Really, I mean, if we show up with just Stroud and Tank, I don't think we're feeling great about that.
Well, good news
as well.
Tank win anyway, so we're getting ready.
So we're kind of like the Stroud pick was probably just a wasted pick.
Yeah, well, sometimes you live, sometimes you learn. Freiermuth is very important. So now we do
Freiermuth or Warren.
I'm wondering with this new information who it wants us to take. Gainwell is
but we have Barkley.
Gainwell is wrong. I think we do Warren, right?
Yeah, I think we go Warren.
Yeah, we do Warren, and then our final pick gets to be John Mechie. So shout out to us. Well, actually, no. Our final pick could be Stroud pick was really bad. It was better. It would have been better right there to set up Packers for 2 reasons. The first being we could make the numbers work in the end with the Steelers guys. The second being their late round picks are better because you can get Watson and Wicks and Kraft and shit really late. Whereas the CJ Stroud pick is like we are literally taking Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
So actually, we're probably not even.
We could.
Yeah, I basically agree with this. I fundamentally agree with this. What is the point of drafting a Bills team without Josh Allen? I think it's only if you get Hurts, right? It's
right. If you have Hurts,
tush
but
push.
Bills
Hurts.
the Bills are likely to be the 2 seed, and they're likely to win games. So it's not that you're building a Bills team. What is this team? This is a Steelers team, right? This is a Russell Wilson has to go to the Super Bowl for this team to win. So it's a Steelers team, but the Bills become advance rate pieces in a way that's actually sound, because the worst advance rate pieces are like, oh, I'll take Bijan Robinson in the last round or whatever. Like they might not even make the playoffs and they're probably not winning a game. Like Bills are advance rate pieces that could actually help you advance in round 2 and round 3. Now paired with the Steelers, it might not work so well, but that's where I think it's not a Bills team. It's a Bills help you get your whatever Eagles team or your Steelers team, your Chiefs team to the Super Bowl in the first place.
I think you're right. Okay, so the Calcaterra is the move because that gives us shit. This is just a bad team. I really fucked us up with the Stroud pick. The Stroud pick was terrible.
I take Schultz at this point because I think are we live?
No.
We're still not
yes, no, we're still not live. So actually, the move is literally like Calvin Austin.
Yeah, the move's Calvin Austin.
Mathematically. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, so there's a good example of how even someone who has a tool up and knows what they're doing and thinks about this stuff can make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not everyone makes those mistakes, but I make them frequently, you might say. I don't think. Well, no, I have one with 1831 that is not advancing.
Oof.
Sick.
Love that.
Look, that's why I'm ready. I'm ready to move on from this season and get to a new one. All right, we're drafting out of the 103.
That's a nice spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I like the 103. Well, I do always win in playoff best ball, but I'm unaccustomed to what playoff best ball is like when the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl. I am gonna guess that if the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl, my return on investment is not gonna be so hot. I'm gonna guess, but maybe they'll make the Super Bowl anyways, right? I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Allen goes 1. So this is interesting. The two's in a tough spot here. Barkley at 3. That's sick.
This is the platonic ideal of taking Barkley.
We love that.
We do love that. But yeah, I mean, what to do with the 101? I mean, I still don't think we solved it because that last team put us in a tricky spot.
So let's see let's keep an eye on this team out of the 101 because they, it's tough.
Well, he's no one. Henry goes before a quarterback. I mean, this is kind of how it would set up for him to run. I mean, obviously we are going to be taking one of the quarterbacks, so he's kind of bad luck.
So there goes Lamar.
There's Lamar.
Hurts will go.
So that saves him though. The Montgomery goes. That is earlier than he normally goes. Yeah, basically this is what
Goff goes. That's good for us.
Yeah,
because I think Hurts will go, but I mean, if he doesn't, my God.
Oh, Hurts will have to go here.
Yeah.
So then we take Mahomes.
Mahomes goes. Oh my God, dude.
Every once in a while. Woo! That's why you got to put the volume in.
Oh man, the mitten. What's first place from the mitten? Just out of curiosity.
50K.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm drafting these. Yeah, 50K to first. I'm drafting these because I don't know if I'm gonna. I definitely won't max the gauntlet. So, and I do want to max the mitten. So if I'm on stream, we want to do it. I'm not going to grab AJB and push it.
That's
I'm not going to.
Crazy.
It's not crazy if you are fine just losing your entries a big chunk of the time, but I don't like doing that. And maybe I'm too risk averse.
No, you're not. Hurts Barkley is uncommon, and getting a chance to put it together, you should take. I feel pretty strongly about that.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, like the guy at 2, there's no way he passes on Hurts twice. He just won't.
Right.
So, do you want to take? I think Kelsey is pretty strong here. Shakir would be the other way to set up the opposite side.
No,
I don't love Jameson here.
It's definitely Jameson is a terrible pick for us here. So we do that, and then we take one of Worthy or Hopkins. We take Shakir, Cooper, or Coleman. We could even on this, we could set up Calcaterra as our last round pick, and we could do Worthy and Kelsey, Likely and Bateman, Coleman and Cooper, Coleman and Kincaid, or whoever.
I don't like doing 3 AFC teams because you're immediately guaranteeing losing spots.
A losing spot.
Yeah. Because it's going to be difficult to get through round 3 to the Super Bowl, and you don't want to guarantee that you've lost players in that round. Like if you show up with a full roster of players in round 3, all of a sudden, like you're in a really good spot to get to the Super Bowl.
I normally take 2 running backs in these. You want to do Shakir, Cooper, Worthy?
It's a smash, I think.
Shakir?
Yeah, because it gives us that second, like a true second out for the Super Bowl. You can click with the Sidekick, by the way, if you don't want to search.
Can you?
Yeah, puts it right in the queue for you.
Today I learned Sack did not make that point to me.
I don't know if you just enjoyed.
I like to show how nimble my fingers are.
I thought
they're maybe not as nimble as Pete's, but they're pretty fucking nimble, dude.
They're pretty nimble.
They're pretty nimble.
They are.
Dude. All right. Enough of the Kincaid. We got to. Who do I talk to? Who do I talk to at legendaryupside.com?
Yeah, me.
Enough.
The person you talk to is me.
Enough, dude.
Yeah.
Enough.
All right.
Like, come on, dude. We're talking about a man who has 65 half PPR fantasy points on the year. Enough already. And Coleman, by the way, I think Worthy makes way more sense because
I like Worthy. I think I like Worthy as well.
I would rather do Worthy and Mac Hollins than Keon Coleman and Noah Gray, I think. If that makes sense.
I think Noah Gray is kind of a good pick.
I mean, yeah. Kincaid is going to nuke in the Super Bowl. 7 targets, 3 receptions, 22 yards, and it's going to have taken every effort of every person. Dude, Jonathan Brooks re-torn ACL. That was pretty evident with how they were all talking to him yesterday, I thought.
Yeah. Sets him up as a really sweet BBM pick next year. Low advance rate.
Low advance rate. Low ceiling. Low win rate.
Yeah. Got to do it.
Poor guy. I would say definitely send a rookie second round pick for him in your leagues, though, because you never know.
I don't know if you need to send a second, to be honest. Coleman is pretty nice here.
You'd rather do Coleman than Goddard.
We could do Goddard. Goddard's, again, it's tricky with the injury, but I'm fine with Goddard.
Well, the thing is we are setting up to.
Goddard probably makes more sense.
Let's click Goddard.
Nimble. That was pretty nimble.
No one's ever been so nimble.
Other than Pete.
Pete is still more nimble than me. So I'm just thinking mathematically, like, again, we were kind of dead there we need an Eagles guy, and we can maybe even take another one in the 10th round. Now, do we want to take which AFC running back do we want? Do we want Hunt? Do we want Ty Johnson?
I think after yesterday, I almost prefer Ty Johnson.
We
have this like really half-assed Bills thing right now. I would like to kind of add to that.
You want a whole ass Bills.
I want a whole ass Bills bet. We're pretty good here. We got 3 Eagles. We got the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs part of it is nice. We could go. Yeah, I mean, I think we could do like a Matt Collins or Noah Gray.
I think let's do. You want to do Noah Gray right now?
Yeah, let's do Gray.
People are pretty woke to Noah Gray.
I mean, like, imagine, like, what kind of rando is going to score like 2 touchdowns in one of these games? Like, isn't Noah Gray pretty high on that list?
Noah Gray is not even a rando, man. We kind of have to elevate him from rando status. He just is. He's just legit. You could go single RB. I don't love it.
I think we easily could go single RB here because we have Hurts.
Yeah, we could. I don't know, man. I think what I'm learning here is I'm playing these two risk averse. All right, who do you want here?
I think maybe Matt Collins at this point and build out the Bills side of this.
Yeah, we need some Mac. Yeah, we need a second Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
come on, man.
Kelsey will be the rando that scores 2 touchdowns. I mean,
that's mean.
The only reason they're gonna let him score a touchdown is they need footage of Taylor Swift on the field for the next Chiefs Hallmark movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know about the existence of this film?
I don't think so.
No, there's literally a Hallmark Chiefs movie. McCall Hardman is in it.
What?
Not a joke. Not a joke. True.
We could take Calcaterra.
Calcaterra is needed. Okay. I've been wanting to avoid talking about fantasy points for a while, but we do need to be honest about ourselves with something, which is that running backs this year just score more fucking points than wide receivers. You just are like, dude, Ty Johnson is going to outscore Xavier Worthy in the fantasy football playoffs, and there's just nothing you or I can do about it.
Where are you at on like that Ty Johnson stuff yesterday was kind of nuts.
Well, it's the role he's always had. He's like their 2-minute drill, long down and distance guy that like they just like using him. I mean, I was telling that to Shope. Ray Davis still played 13 snaps yesterday. Like Ty Johnson has kind of always been good at that.
Right.
What I said about opt-out. No, opt-out does not have this man is autoing. No, this man is autoing off of ADP. This is not good process. This is bad process.
Worst process, you might say.
Opt-out. Yeah.
Did Ty Johnson go?
I assume so. That's why he's not being recommended in the Sidekick.
Yeah, I'm like, where is he?
No, he's there. Yeah, we should take him.
Huh.
I mean, imagine how unique our team is going to be if Ty Johnson outscores Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
Ty Johnson
Ty
Johnson did score more fantasy points than Barkley yesterday, didn't he? Probably not. Probably close.
Not.
Probably close.
He had a long touchdown, so he might have.
We also have Goddard, who like might be a 0. So adding in. Wait, no, never mind. That would have been if we were taking Gainwell. Yeah, very, very close. 14 to 17-ish, roughly.
Damn.
That was a good team. That was a good one. Yeah. That was no mistakes on that one.
All you got to do in this is draft out of the 3, have Barkley fall to you, and then a Hurts fall back. And it's
I mean, so that's the other thing is these are such a volume game because your best teams are going to be when the room gives you a gift. It's very similar to Battle Royale that way, actually, where in Battle Royale, some of the best teams you're going to make are going to be like, oh, I was able to get Justin Jefferson and Devin A-Chain on the same team because this guy made a mistake at the turn. A lot of your best teams are going to be from that. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it certainly is what it is. Are you gonna max all these contests, Kerrane, or just the gauntlet?
I'm probably gonna max most of it. We'll see. It'll come down to me for drafting time, because DraftKings is gonna be launching some stuff, and so I'm still writing the walkthrough. There's no buys anymore, so like
your kid's not sleeping though, so you're up a lot at night.
Yeah, but the thing about her not sleeping is that you're like, comforting her and everything. Like I'm not like
you don't have phone in one hand, baby on the other hand.
I sometimes do. I mean, obviously, you rock her down, but like these drafts
you're creating extra hours in the day.
Yeah, that's true. Since I'm not sleeping, but I think you're thinking through what to do, right? And you're kind of keeping this puzzle together in your head because, like, I love this format because you get sniped, right? And now you have to come up with a new
you have to
thing.
rethink. But that's it requires a tremendous amount of brain power compared to drafting a BBM team.
Yes,
tremendous.
Yeah. You can't really like zone out and draft good teams like this. So
Gibbs, Henry, what do you think?
Gibbs is real nice.
Yeah.
We have a chance of getting Goff on the way back. We have a really good chance since no quarterbacks are gone.
That is nice. Yeah. Do you know? Sack didn't tell us how many rounds DraftKings is going to be? I'm assuming it's not going to be 12 this year or whatever. Like insane.
I don't know. Yeah.
I hope it's not 12. 12. Bit too much. The first year they did it, it was 20.
Yeah.
The first year they did it, you were drafting Raiders players just because you were like, well, I mean, what do I do? So, yes, I do. Because I actually played that year. Yes. So most of mine are done drafting walking the dogs, and I'm only like 25 mittens in, and we get Goff. I'm only like 25 mittens in because I cannot walk the dogs.
Yeah.
And do it requires too much effort.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, that's why we have the Sidekick for this. It's like it helps you visualize what your options are very quickly.
It helps you create shippers.
Yeah,
you should have called it the shipper tool. Sidekick is pretty good.
The shipper tool is good. I like that.
Shipper tool. What does Jam to Win call his thing? The Bink machine. I don't even know what that is, but he calls it the Bink machine.
It's an Opto, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, shipper machine rolls right off.
Shipper machine.
Shipper machine. There's something with shipper. Look, let me tell you. There is a DFS tool. There's something to be done in DFS or gambling called shipper something. I'm not going to figure it out because I'm not a business person. Shipper Nation. That's what their opto should be called. All right, draft number 4, Lions, Giga Stack. Now, the interesting thing, Kerrane, with the Lions stuff is if someone snaps off Jameson Williams, and even if they don't snap off Jameson Williams, you find yourself in dupe central really quick. Really, really quick. You find yourself in dupe city. Do you have any thoughts on that?
A lot of the Lions stuff isn't going to get through.
Like a lot of Lions stuff is not going to get through.
Yeah,
that's true.
I just like you have on the 2-seed side. It's not like there's all these like smash advance rate pieces on the Bills. Like it's Allen, and that's kind of it. That's the problem, right? It's like he doesn't have these guys you're super excited to add. So finding ways to get Lions through will be somewhat difficult.
Yeah. That I guess if you're big on the Lions stuff, that is the hope. We are gonna get. Oh, did Jameson go? Yeah, he did. It's a good team that the guy built in the one hole. Josh Allen, James Cook, Jameson Williams.
See, I like that. I think having some of that's nice. I know it's not.
I agree. No, I completely agree.
You'd probably rather have Josh Allen, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, but like it's still pretty good.
I think I disagree with the Sidekick here. I think we just take Laporta, right?
We could, yeah. I mean, it gives you you're going to get boxed out of both teams pretty quickly because they have the bye. So if we want to just make sure we have the Lions, we could
when you take Laporta, it gives you far more optionality in terms of I can do Chargers, I can do Texans, I can do Steelers, I can do 3 Chargers. Like it gives you. Whereas if you take Kelsey, the rest of your draft is set.
One thing it allows you to do is you can play for Bills Super Bowl, but you can use like the Steelers as an advance rate piece, or you can use Ravens as advance rate pieces. Use one of those two teams. So it gives you more optionality for how you play the AFC.
Yeah, exactly. Not to say that
Kelsey's a pretty sick piece of the Chiefs. If you're betting on lines,
Chiefs. If you're betting on Lions Chiefs, you want to have Kelsey. You want to have Kelsey. You want to have Pacheco. I just I know I personally in my portfolio have a shit ton. I don't know if I don't sweat that stuff that much. And Hopkins came around to us. Do you want to take Shakir or Hopkins or Cooper?
I think Shakir at this point because we kind of already passed on the Chiefs side.
No great reason for him to go behind you. Yeah, I didn't look. 5-hole is a Lions fan. I'm not woke enough. 5-hole probably would not have taken.
So what's his quarterback? What's the 5-hole's quarterback?
5-hole's quarterback is Lamar.
Oof, man, that's a good team.
Yeah, it is. Jacobs.
We gifted him that. Damn.
And this team right here, the Hurts, AJ Brown, Kelsey, Pacheco start is pretty hot as well.
Sorry, so that's the one I meant. 6-hole.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, there are a lot of good playoff best ball teams. It's just all. I don't know.
Both those are good teams.
I don't know anyone in here. I don't think any of these guys in here are in my Discord or in Pete's Discord, so I'm not certain.
The Ravens stuff, you do end up. I've built a number of Ravens, Packers, Ravens, Vikings because it just kind of like flow together quite nicely, and they look so good when you're done. But the problem is like that's not going to happen, and like in all likelihood that we get that Super Bowl, either one. But man, they're fun. They're really fun.
This is a fun idea. Like, let's say you just come into a contest and you're like, I'm treating this as a $3,750 or $750 bet on my favorite team to make the Super Bowl, right? What is better to do? Just draft that team or the opposing conference and push them up. I think what you do is you just smash the early AFC. If this guy is a Packers fan, so you just smash the early AFC. You take Chiefs, you take Ravens, you take Bills, you take all those guys really early, and then just start jamming in Packers players. And you might be like, you're going to end up being really overweight on like Dontavian Wicks and Marshawn Lloyd and really low drafted guys like that. It's like, I don't know. It's obviously not the optimal way to play. Sidekick wants Joe Mixon.
It's pushing Mixon because we need a running back.
We need an AFC running back
for round one.
But would you rather do Steelers though?
Is Pickens gone?
Yes.
Yeah. Normally I would, but I think Mixon makes sense here.
That sets us up to take Stroud or no.
Yeah. It sets us up to take Stroud. It's to cover the bye week.
I mean, buddy, this team is going to score 17 points in a home playoff loss so hard. Texans, dude, talk about the downfall of PFF Bobby, man.
Seriously, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was only if I want to draft 150 Packers teams, I would be like 10 spots ahead of.
So what I would say, first of all, is like maybe just place a Packers futures bet. Because these games are soft, and so you probably want to be like building a number of different types of Super Bowls so that your edge is in building sharp teams, and then even if the Packers don't make it. But if you want to do that, do you want to go Coleman here and continue the Bills bet?
I think people just really want us to take Kincaid.
Okay, let's do Kincaid.
I think it's terrible. I mean, we're talking about an injured guy who stinks, but
other than that,
great. I mean, imagine the Bills beat the Chiefs in whatever round they play each other in the playoffs, and Kincaid scores a touchdown or whatever. I'm like, well, at least I got that one $5 mitten team, dude. At least I got that one mitten team. It's gonna be fine.
I'm inclined on the way back just to take Stroud because you kind of end up.
Agree.
Yeah, you're just like, what am I gaining by not taking him? You know, you're gaining like.
I'm trying to think. It's like Stroud. I mean, we could do Najee or is Najee gone? Yeah, Najee's gone. So it would be Russell Wilson and Freiermuth, Russell Wilson and Van Jefferson, Russell Wilson and Calvin Austin. We made our bed. And now we're playing for a Lions Bills Super Bowl.
Stroud goes, oh my God.
No, that's fine, because now we can play for also a Packers.
We could also go
Lions Super Bowl.
We could go McLaurin and try to go with Daniels.
I
like
the Packers stuff
Watson.
better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like the Packers stuff better because no disrespect to the Washington Football Commanders, their NFC Conference Championship odds are giga ass. That's why I love you're seeing him here. Yeah. The Packers hung with the Lions in a game that they played terribly on Thursday night. I mean, they played really bad. They fumbled. They made special teams errors, and they could have won that game. Do you ever add third running backs to a team? I never do.
I do sometimes, yeah. And that would be a spot where I might.
This would be a spot to do it.
Yeah.
You do it when you have 4 NFC. You have the quarterback. You have 3 pass catchers, but you don't have the running backs. So you just do you do a Chief, you do a Bill, you do a Charger, or whatever.
Yeah, I build with 3 a decent amount, but the third is usually it's with the gross guys. It's with a Justice Hill. It's with a Gainwell. It's with a Hunt. Yep. That type of thing, or a P. Ryan. You get the Ty Johnson or a Ray Davis, that guy who's connected to the quarterback. I think you could also do a Lamar, Henry, Hill, because they get there in different game scripts. God damn it, was the Packer. I think Tucker Kraft makes more sense.
Yeah, you have to do Kraft.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, Kerrane, I really I'm not just saying this because you're my friend, but I normally hate tools. I normally disagree. I normally like to override them, but I do really enjoy this tool. It's pretty slick.
That makes me happy, man. What I like about it is that you should and easily can override it, and then it just is okay, this is what
it rolls. Yes, it rolls with it. When I override Nerdy Tenors tool and we're doing the BRs, it just tells me how much less money I make. It has the expected value calc in it. So we get to the end of the draft and Dan goes, well, if you would have taken Ramondre Stevenson, this team would have been worth $17, but because you took Bucky Irving, this team is now worth $3. You fucking idiot, costing yourself expected value.
Yeah, we don't have that part. It's just it just tells you who to what picks make sense going forward.
Correct. Okay. It wants us to take Hollins as another. So I actually think what we do is this would either be a spot for us to take another AFC running back.
Mixon's pretty good as an advance rate piece. And
I forgot we had Gibbs. So no, I actually think this is the Tim Patrick spot, right? Oh, okay. He's gone.
Yeah, I think Hollins makes sense.
So whatever.
Yeah, because playing for that Super Bowl, because we have 1 bill. Yeah, we've got 2 bills. So I forgot about Kincaid.
Now we have to take Wicks.
How could I forget about Dalton Kincaid?
How could you forget? Yeah.
I like this. I like the.
I mean, how funny is it that playoff best ball now? That Tim Patrick, last year, before the Juwan Jennings shit, Tim Patrick, wide receiver 50, no one takes him. Now Tim Patrick gone every time, 100% drafted.
I know.
Wide receiver 26. He also did not help him. It did not help our cause when he scored 2 touchdowns on Thursday Night Football.
No, he's a pretty good pick. He's a genuinely good pick.
Yeah, he is, which makes Brock Wright a better pick. Brock Wright, baby. Sidekick wants to take Dontavian Wicks, but we want to set up a potential. Well,
the sidekick might be right.
The sidekick is right. The sidekick is right. The sidekick is right. I'm wrong. Now, had we taken Wicks instead of Hollins, I would have been right.
Right.
But no, it is right mathematically.
Because we're barely betting on the Texans, right? We took 1 Texan. It's Mixon as a one-off to get Gibbs through. So if they lose, we're fine. Then we get Jahmyr Gibbs hitting our lineup going forward. Lions are going to make the Super Bowl much more likely than the Packers, who are mostly just there to get us through. We bet on the
if the Bills get a bye, this team is dead.
No, it's dead. Yeah, the Bills. This is a Bills are the 2 seed bet. Yeah, it's dead if we don't get that.
So
because it would what? It would have Mixon, Love, Kraft, and that's it. I think.
Sack did tell me something interesting, which is that like roughly 5% of teams can advance with only 4 in round 1, 4 scores. Just because
you can get through
odd luck.
He told me that he was doing like all Bills and all Chiefs 2 years ago when it was split of who was going to get the bye. He just did like, I'm not hedging this. I'm not betting. I'm betting that both teams don't get the bye when I'm drafting them, and so I'm going to have juggernauts of whichever team doesn't get the bye. And then the Chiefs got the bye, but he got I think at least one Mahomes team, if not a couple, through round 1. So without a quarterback, he's still advanced. It's not likely, but we don't know. Like that's the tricky part about taking like these advance rate pieces. Like Joe Mixon could have like no points. So if you're taking him as a 3rd or 4th AFC team, like that's bad because like you're guaranteeing that you're going to lose the teams in the subsequent rounds. And these guys, like, they're better bets to score points, but they're not guaranteed. No one's guaranteed to score points. So, mixing up your bets on which teams are going to make runs, and you'll kind of land on the right advance rate pieces that way. Like, Jake Ferguson was the dude last year. No one thought that.
Jake Ferguson was the dude last year. Yeah. Jake Ferguson and Brandon Cooks were big advance rate pieces, right?
I can't remember if Cooks actually got there.
Dak threw 1 billion times in that playoff game.
Right, because they got their asses kicked and they just were in garbage time.
Yeah. Man, I remember playing that fucking Browns-Texans game so wrong. I was so on the Browns in that game. It's like, rookie quarterback, dude, come on. All right. AJ Brown. So we do Hurts, AJ Brown.
Hurts, AJ Brown. The other option is Gibbs, Goff, but we just did that.
Live a little.
Yeah.
Hurts and AJ Brown. And this sets us up. Although, I don't know if you feel this way. I do prefer the mega AFC stacks because I like the backdoor NFC teams better. I like the Packers and Vikings more than I like the Steelers, Chargers, and Texans.
I wish that we had the reverse. Like, I wish we could just trade teams into the AFC because this game would be more fun if the Packers and the Vikings were in the AFC. Like that, it would just be so fun.
You're bifurcating your. The conciliary is asking why you don't want to play for at least 2.
Because the final's big.
Every draft. All the money's in the final, dude. Yeah.
It's firepower in the final. And there's
112,000 entries in the mitten. That's so many teams. Do you know how many combos that covers? That covers so many combos.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of can't, like, when you're drafting Lions, I prefer to have my second quarterback from the AFC. Russell Wilson's a sweet quarterback. If you're betting on that, like, I don't even need the Steelers to make it, but if they do, my God. And then you can take a second NFC team if you want, and have like you're live now for Steelers, Packers, Steelers, Vikings, but you're also live for like Lions, Bills, Lions, Chiefs. You could do that. That's great. Like I'd prefer that because it gives you that extra out. But I'm drafting a second quarterback anyway to cover the bye, and now I'm thinking, I can eke out a little bit more equity by taking opposite conference. But if I have Allen, I don't think I'm playing for another Super Bowl. Like Allen's making the Super Bowl.
Goff with St. Brown for sure.
Yeah. Dude, Kelsey's a smash.
Kelsey's smash. Now, do we take Hopkins and double up on our chief? Or do we take
Shakir and play it 2 ways?
Shakir and play it 2 ways.
I'm open to either. I think either.
Keeping in mind, we don't have week 1 running back points.
Right. we're gonna add. I don't think we need to force Mixon here. I think we take one of the two receivers.
I don't want to take. I think in my like mental ranks, I might just have Najee Harris ahead. I think I'm buying on the Steelers to that degree.
Okay, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. I mean, certainly it's worth pushing and getting a guy we already bet to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. If you could tell me that Kenneth Gainwell scores a touchdown on one of his 3 touches in the wild card round of the playoffs, I'd have I think if you told me he did that, I think I'd actually just have 100%. I think I would just take him in the 10th round every time. Be like, well, covering a lot of Eagles Super Bowls here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the 2 Eagles. This will be this is actually, I mean, this is a lock Gainwell team. We were for sure gonna have Kenny.
You have to, you almost have to take him, yeah.
Yeah, but then we need to say, I guess this could be a P. Ryan Najee team. The thing about Amari Cooper, I know he did have 14 targets yesterday. That equaled his target share that he's had with the Bills the entire time. He'd had 14 targets up until that point. He's not playing full time. He's playing about 65% of the snaps, about 60% of the routes. And I don't know, Shakir is just better than him. And I don't even think Shakir is good, really. So that should tell you.
One of the things that's kind of funny about this game is that like the upside of guys is like a little less important when you're betting on them to make a run. Like Shakir, I just am like, Shakir's going to get targets week in, week out, right? Cooper's a little bit more volatile, which normally we like, but you're like, you need to advance several times. Cooper, we might be like a tad low on though.
Yeah. Well, Mixon is maybe going to come back around to us.
I mean, I would be pretty.
This guy doesn't have a quarterback, so he should take him. No, Najee. So Najee went, so we have to take him now.
Mixon Collins seems fine.
Yeah, we don't have another. That stinks. Never thought I'd be mad. Never thought I'd be mad about getting sniped on Najee Harris. That's so funny. It's like that is such a funny thing about playoff best ball, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, I can't wait to draft Najee Harris. Dude, my Saquon Barkley teams, I got Barkley at 103. Let's go. You know, because it just becomes it's actually easier in a way, you know, because it just becomes more about the theory than any of the individual players.
Right.
Which I like. We're not going to skip him. I think we're just going to get him. I just think Goddard falls now.
Yeah, he's falling, and I understand why.
He's on the season-ending IR. Like regular season-ending IR. He really might not be back. All right, we've got 2 Chiefs, 2 Texans, 2 Eagles. So we do need to get to 4 Eagles. Those Eagles are going to be a little thin. So we could probably save them for the end. Yeah, this is probably a Calcaterra team.
Yeah.
Well, or do we just get to 3 and do 4 Chiefs, 4 Texans? What do you think?
Building out the Texans bet beyond what we already did feels tough because you're like, you want to be psyched if they play 2 games and not be dependent on them to play 3. So I think building it through the Chiefs and the Eagles makes more sense than through the Texans. Like I would have like Hollywood. I'd probably Gainwell 1 here, and then because we don't have Saquon, and just getting that running back is important.
Yeah, I think when you don't get Saquon, you just got to take Gainwell with Hurts.
Yeah,
I think it's just like that is just totally. It's just what you have to do. Like
he also goes like I don't like pushing Gainwell. Like I think just getting Gainwell here makes a lot of sense. So he's a lock, and then I would take probably Hollywood, and then frankly I'd probably take Noah Gray over Tank.
Yeah, buddy, if Sion Vaki runs a fake punt in the Super Bowl, that's gonna be the high point for me. Not sure it is gonna get any better than Sion Vaki in the biggest stage, introducing everyone. Sion Vaki gets a rep at running back and at safety in the Super Bowl.
Dude, what if Sion Baki gets a pick 6? Do we get 6 points for that?
That's a great question. That is a legitimately great question. If your guy, let's just do Gainwell.
Gainwell Hollywood, I think is pretty awesome.
Gainwell Hollywood. Let me double check the math on that. Are we sure we don't want Tank?
I think we want Hollywood because we don't have. I mean, the Eagles we're not playing them for the bye.
We're not playing them for the bye.
So, advance rate wise, we have Hurts, AJ Brown.
Well,
Nico.
We'll take Hollywood,
Mixon.
but the 2v2 in terms of things that make sense, it'll be like Hollywood and Dalton Schultz versus Tank Dell and Noah Gray.
Which I could see. I could definitely see both sides of that.
Yeah, I think I can.
But the other thing is that we could go like, with an NFC. It could go like Terry at the end. Like we don't have to go Tank or Schultz. Like it could be.
Well, why would we do? We wouldn't do Terry, right? If we took a one off, we'd want it to be an AFC one off, yeah, for Super Bowl stuff.
Well, we already have our 2 AFC teams, don't we? Yeah, we got Texans, Chiefs. So I think we'd rather. Now Terry would play the Lions in round. No, but they're going to play. Keep forgetting. They're probably going to play the Eagles in round 1.
Yeah.
So Terry's bad. Yeah.
That's why we let the computer do it for us. Computer's
just watch me
know.
Continually remember the same thing for an hour and 26 minutes.
Well, it's just like, dude, you think you understand it, and you're like, oh, dude, all right, I'm ready to go, and then you start to think about it for 2 seconds. You're like, wait, no, that's not optimal because of this. So then that means that would be It's like doing algebra.
It is. It really is. Yeah, Rusty asked if Jalen Hurts has to make the Super Bowl. Yes, but that's the way. I think that's one of the big things for me when you're building these teams is make a bet. Make a bet on who makes the Super Bowl and who they play. Now, you have the luxury usually of taking a couple stabs at who they play.
Yeah.
But you don't want to just like spread it out because when you get to the final, you're going to go against hundreds of other teams and you're going to have to outscore them all. And if you spread your bets just to get there, you're going to score very low and you're not going to make any money.
All right. Got to take Calcaterra for the math, right?
Calcaterra helps us, yeah.
I think we do Calcaterra Tank.
Calcaterra Tank works.
I don't think we want to add a fourth chief, right? Fourth chief does not make any sense, really.
If we added in the Super Bowl, it helps us if we get it's advance versus win. I think there's strong arguments either way. I kind of lean Gray just because like we have like the mix and Nico.
He'll also not be like 100% drafted. Noah Gray. He'll be like marginally more unique.
Yeah, because we have the advancing pieces are Mixon, Nico,
and all the Eagles.
Gainwell, AJ Brown, Hurts, Calcaterra. That's pretty good.
Yeah, basically we just need. Well, actually, what would be ideal would be Calcaterra smashes for us in the wild card round, and then Goddard comes back. I guess. I guess no. We just want Calcaterra smashing, but Calcaterra needs to smash in that first week.
It's the Calcaterra smashes, and then we get the Chiefs added to the party in round 2.
Jahan Dotson is like so bad that I don't even think he can beat Juwan Jennings. I mean, I'm sure I take him sometimes and he's fine, but I like Calcaterra way better than Jahan Dotson. I might like Johnny Wilson. I think Johnny Wilson might be injured. Subtext to the story is I don't like Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Got to do these timestamps. What are we going to get here? The turn again. We're going to end up drafting the exact same team, basically.
To answer a question that someone put in the chat like an hour ago, this is the same tool that does regular best ball as well. So you sign up the yearly, you get the summer included. as part of it.
Oh, sick. So this actually is a good time to do it.
It's a good time, yeah, because you get the playoffs
kind
and
of an optimal time to do it.
Right.
It's just like, this is really a crazy thing. Every NFL team is super vulnerable. There's really not a great, I don't think there's a historically great or really memorable or unbeatable team amongst all these groups.
No one's unbeatable, but doesn't it feel like if you took the Lions or the Eagles and put them in the AFC that we would feel like they're a little bit more of a juggernaut?
I think no, because the questions you have about both of those teams are related to their quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Lions can be as great as they want. We love it, and Jared Goff gets blitzed too many times in the second half of the NFC Conference Championship game. Whatever. No one is gonna talk more about believing in Lamar and believing in Jalen Hurts and believing in these guys that the market doesn't believe in than me. But I've seen them lose too many games in these spots.
Yeah.
And Nick Sirianni is an idiot.
That's
just like he just is. It just is what it is.
So Sacrilegious was noting earlier that he's not down on the Ravens. He's down on he thinks they're being drafted too high for their probabilities. That would be an example. Lamar at 103, like, he's so much less likely to make the Super Bowl than these other guys.
Yep.
Just AJ Brown.
Same thing.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So there's a real key here, a real point of emphasis, which is that if you sit here and hammer these out like Pat and I are doing right now, you can kind of have the temptation to get bored and start doing weird shit. Like, oh, dude, I'm going to do Jalen Hurts. I'm going to skip AJ Brown because AJ Brown is going to get hurt, and I'm going to take Devonta Smith. I would encourage you not to do these things. I would encourage you not to do that. It's the same thing in BR every week too. Don't get bored of playing the best plays.
I think the compared to like regular best ball, like you normally don't want to draft like the same kind of team over and over in regular best ball, but in these, I think it makes more sense to draft similar teams over because you're going to have a lot of your good teams get knocked out in kind of fluky ways, or they're going to get through in kind of fluky ways. And so like getting the combos that we think are the nuts actually through is hard enough.
Very hard.
Yeah, that I just kind of want to like take a lot of shots on goal to like get the most obvious nuts through to the Super Bowl. Like show up with what I think is the nuts now, and no one else, not no one, but like not a ton of people have it.
I do weird stuff more like 1 out of every 10 times instead of 1 out of every 5. After we make our next pick, I'm going to have you answer this question while I go pee.
1 out of every 5 is not even like that's more than drafting out of every draft slot. That means all of your 103 teams.
That's a good way to think. That's a good way to think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's too frequent, I think.
Like we're gonna be in the same spot. Do we have any examples of drafting the same best ball team over and over and not working? I can't think. I also can't think of any. It'd be
nothing comes to mind.
It's crazy.
Let's do.
Kelsey,
I don't want to do the
Kelsey
thing
went.
again.
I absolutely do not. Let's do Shakir and Flowers. Shakir and Cooper.
Well, Flowers doesn't. We need a running back, and then we end up without one from the AFC.
Okay, so we could do. Hear me out. We could do Najee, or we set this up to be a double NFC team with the Bills guys coming back, and we take Jacobs and we do the Packers. Call an audible.
Sure. Here. Let's do Jacobs and see how it works.
Okay. I am going to go pee. You answer this question. I will be right back.
Big dog plus Goff, and you play it through Laporta, Flowers, or whoever. I think one of the issues there is that if it is the Ravens Super Bowl, you probably want Lamar, and then you're going to face that. So you're going to face like Lamar, Henry, Flowers teams in the Super Bowl. And then you have like Goff, Laporta. So you're also probably going against like Montgomery, Lamar, maybe Gibbs, Lamar, Flowers, that type of stuff. So I think if I'm betting on the Ravens to go through, I probably want to play it through Lamar and Henry. Not to say I would never do it though.
No, dude, it's just all come from behind games. Justice Hill. It's all Justice Hill. Always was.
I mean, I think you definitely want. In the reverse, you want Justice Hill there.
See, I kind of disagree with this. At this time, you draft players in the hunt for the playoffs that no one will have or is less owned. I think that theoretically sounds great, but then that just means you have a bunch of guys who get eliminated in round one. You got a bunch of Puka Nacua because no one thinks the Rams are going to make the playoffs, and then Puka scores 19 in round one, and then they lose.
To me, that's an example of what I think a common kind of misconception about this game is that it's like you have to find the pieces that differentiate you in round one or in round two. But what you really need is the pieces that differentiate you in like round three and then in round four. And the teams that are, not even likely to make the playoffs right now are very unlikely to be in the conference championship game, which is round three of this tournament. It's pretty sick when you can show up to round three or, even in the Super Bowl and be like, I'm like way ahead of the vast majority of my competition, which, is something you could find in the Super Bowl if both one seeds make it and you get 5 live players there. Wait, who are you taking here?
I think we do Jaden Reed and Jordan Love.
Okay.
Or we could do here, hold on, let me take Love first and then let's talk about it. Okay. So we could take one of the Bills guys and then, do Kraft, Wicks, Dobbs, whoever. That's fine. But we need a Bill or a Packer here.
I think we go the Packer. I think what we're doing here is we are playing, and we're going to have a drop down that we release on this hopefully tomorrow that will allow you to change which team is getting the bye. So I think functionally we're betting that the Eagles get the bye.
Well, this actually is more of a bet on, this is going to functionally end up being more of a Bills bet actually, because we're going to end up,
sure.
We're going to take Ty Johnson or Ray Davis. We're going to take Keon Coleman or Shakir or whoever. We're going to end up with 4 Bills. And then it's going to be the Bills make the Super Bowl and one of Hurts or Love outscores.
But I think you really want the Eagles to have the bye to make that
more. It's a better advancing team. Sure.
Well, just for like the competition, because like that means the Eagles are getting wiped out at a much higher rate. So spending some of your firepower on the Packers doesn't become a real limiting factor.
Right.
What I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, more or less, the Spike Weeks players in round one will determine, but like people will draft bad teams or whatever, or the Spike Week guys will occur a lot with the bye week teams.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah. It's chaotic. It's really chaotic.
Teams are gonna like the advances, like all these pods will look different. It is a very chaotic game.
It's super chaotic, and that's you want to get. Like, I want more bullets rather than like, for the same money, I want to get a bunch of teams in as opposed to a couple high stakes entries, because it is a very chaotic game.
That's interesting. Like if they do a single entry one, like if there was like $100 single entry, I'd enter it probably, but like, I'd be like, well, this is probably bad. Like maybe I'll win this one, but I probably won't, like I probably won't advance from my pod.
Yeah, I'd probably do like Allen. I think there's like Allen. A case for like Hurts 103 there, because you're like,
I'd probably take 2 quarterbacks in that, even if I didn't have the bye, like I would do like a Russell, like just be like, I'm picking up EV just from
I just
having
play
a
it through
second
one of the 2
quarterback.
seeds, I think, and just
Yeah.
be like, if the 2 seeds win, this team will be sick. It'll be good every round, but then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we take Keon Coleman. So we've got our next bill. Then do we take Gainwell? Do we take Ty Johnson? Do we take Goddard? What are you thinking? Let's see what it tells us to do.
I think we
after
take Gainwell.
I think Gainwell makes the Buffalo bet better.
Yeah. I think we don't mess around and we get Gainwell.
Well, or do we do Ray Davis or Ty Johnson?
I think Gainwell gives us.
No, I'm an idiot. Gainwell is way better because this sets us up that we don't care which NFC team is in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Versus
Right.
Yeah, way better. Gainwell, man, do you think he'd have trouble sleeping at night if he knew how important he was for playoff basketball?
He'd be like,
I think he'd be like, dude, why am I so important? It'd be like when fantasy basketball first started, like DFS basketball started getting really, or no, when preseason fantasy football started first getting really big, and people would tweet at these beat writers and be like, hey dude, is Kyle Bowler gonna get the entire second half? And the beat writers would be like, dude, why do you guys care about what Dorian Thompson-Robinson is doing? What on earth? Why? Like, this is like so weird.
Yeah.
Shipley, I suppose, Shipley is draftable for 2 reasons. The first being he could score a touchdown in one of these blowouts, like whatever. But the other one being, if Gainwell did happen to get banged up,
yeah, contingent value.
Shipley would, I mean, dude, and he would be leverage on all of these nerd Sidekick users who are going to be jammed full of Gainwell.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's fine, especially the 2 seed element, like, finding that player who maybe he's not slated to get any run, but like, imagine if Saquon misses the conference championship game, and then let's say he comes back for the Super Bowl or whatever, but it's much harder to get him through. And it wouldn't just be Gainwell. Like, Shipley would get some run.
He definitely, yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of time left in the playoffs, man. So
the contingent value element is it's not, we're not drafting for contingent value really, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind.
I don't know why this is the funniest YouTube comment I've read all day. Contingent value on Kenneth Gainwell. None of those words are in the Bible. That's really, yeah. People can say we might have gone too far. All right, do you like Dobbs or Kraft more?
Probably Dobbs.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then probably Collins.
So I'm just trying to think of math based if we're missing anything.
Well, the Eagles are getting a bye, so Kraft is fine, but he's going to probably get eliminated. Hollins won't have a bye, so he helps us. Okay.
So we've got Dobbs. So we either take Hollins or Ray Davis.
Right.
Either way, they're a flex. Ray Davis obviously can fill in the running back spot. I don't really care.
Let's take Hollins, and then we could get what's our running back? Yeah, we could do Davis or Ty Johnson with our last pick.
This is our last pick.
Oh, this is our last pick. Let's do Davis. For some reason, I thought this was the number.
Nimble. Oh, dude, no one's ever been more nimble.
Beautifully nimble.
No one's ever.
So this was one of those 3 running back builds people asked about, but it's Jacobs and Gainwell and Davis. So it's like Jacobs is there to help you, and then not a lot of people have these guys left. Like most people, because one of the things I think people don't think through, or like it's just helpful to experience this. Like if you've been playing for a couple of years, you just know this in your bones because it's happened.
Yep,
it's happened to you. Is that like you're gonna advance Bills teams on the back of one of these games from yesterday, which they lose. So you're going to show up with like Amari Cooper's going to score 2 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid's going to have like 35 yards, but on 10 receptions.
He's gonna have 2 almost touchdowns though.
He's gonna almost score.
He's gonna almost score twice for sure.
So you're gonna be in a spot where like you easily, like by like 30 points over the next team, you get in to the next round, and you're dead. You have like like literally 0 players left.
Chance. Yeah.
Yeah. That is going to happen like to a bunch of your teams and a bunch of your opponents' teams.
Yeah.
It's like just getting to a round and having the players who are playing in that round is like on its own a pretty massive edge.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I think my mouse literally just died. Crazy. I'm pretty sure it did. We're about to find out. That's never happened to me before.
You can't even pull up a comment.
I can't even pull a comment. Can't even end the stream. If something crazy could be happening right now, and I couldn't even end the stream. I think StreamYard has hotkeys, but I wouldn't be able to Google them.
You could send me a code. I could log in under your under your email.
I'm gonna turn it back on, but I'm pretty sure.
I guess you can't do that because you can't even. You'd have to tell me.
I'd have to tell you. It's really incredible. I'm pretty sure it is just dead. Oh wait, hold on. Oh my god, because I have my my laptop. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Great.
Beautiful. Do you want to do one more?
I've got 15 minutes, so yeah, we can squeeze in one more.
Okay. All right, we can do one more. We could do one more in which I am entirely controlling it with my laptop that I basically
never
used.
This is a real test of the nimble fingers.
Oh my god, my fingers are never going to have to be more nimble. Unbelievable. Here, and I can plug my mouse back in. Wow, Kerrane, this
everyone mute the stream so Davis can tell Pat his password. Honor system.
We got the 106 again.
Yeah.
Well, and actually here, I can even pull this up on my phone so I don't even have to really test how nimble they are. I got a lot of devices going on down here, bro. It's kind of hectic. I have a new desk set up. And this might shock you. I'm not particularly organized. So I'm still figuring everything out down here. Sack is telling me I can double click the top bar of the Sidekick to have it move to the bottom of your screen to make it easier to navigate in the lobby. I just like looking at it, man. I just like knowing it's there, Sack. But thank you. You didn't tell me about one of the other features. I already forgot the feature. He was
the much more important feature. You click the player and they pop in the queue. And then you can click them again. They'll take them out of the queue.
All right. Well, get ready to say the line, Bart, as we select AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts again. I am imagining. Yeah,
I'm down. We could also do.
Maybe we'll get gifted something though. Like you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you can do Goff and the Lions running back as well.
Well, I was going to say if someone, for whatever reason, loses their mind, maybe we do Gibbs, Lamar or something.
Well, one move is
we
could go Hurts, Henry. Oh,
let's. Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Do we? Now we can do the Ravens.
I was going to say let's do AJ Brown, Lamar. Let's do what.
I think I'd rather do Henry Lamar because you get boxed out a running back.
Okay. Oh well, you take Jacobs. Is what you have to take Jacobs and Aaron Jones.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's like,
dude, he was in some of my rooms this morning. This opt-out guy. He's in the gauntlet right now. I would not be drafting these with him right now. That is my professional advice. I would not be drafting gauntlets right now.
One thing that's kind of funny about this game is that like you're better off for opt-out being in the tournament, but
not in your room
in his drafts.
Yeah. So I mean, it is helpful in the sense of who they're drafting, but you better hope they're not drafting the guy who's in your queue because you can't save yourself.
Is he going off ADP?
I assume he is straight based on how I was observing. He's straight drafting off ADP and not even ranks.
What's the point? Did he just reg and forget?
Maybe there's a method to his madness. Maybe he just likes to sweat. Maybe he's too rich for his own good. I mean, you never know, dude.
Auto drafting off rankings is one thing, but if it's off ADP, I don't understand.
So one of the guys, I mean, maybe the auto drafting committee, the auto drafting population on Underdog is he's draining 30 seconds every time, so it's not mass reg and forget. Yeah, because if you mass register, it automatically puts you on auto draft. So he's not doing that. A guy at the Dog Bowl auto drafted off ADP, forgot he was doing it, was wrangling his kids and qualified. So maybe the auto drafting community is really woke now.
Yeah, it's been a good couple months for the auto drafters.
So I think I like what I think we do. Nice. I like Laporta or Kelsey. I think let's do Laporta. I do like this Aaron Jones selection. Well, I like that. What do you think about that?
I think I like it more than Kelsey because we're playing. Agreed. That's a coherent second Super Bowl team, whereas Kelsey can't make the Super Bowl and he has a bye.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if there's a logic component in there that we're not understanding about why Kelsey is good once we take Laporta, because Kelsey was not in there before we took Laporta. So it was basing something to do with the Super Bowl there, something to do with the Lions-Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah, the big thing driving Kelsey is that he has good odds of being in the conference championship game.
Correct.
So again, like just showing up to the conference championship game and having players live is going to be huge, and Kelsey's got good odds there. So that drives him a lot. But God, it's 100% ADP from what Ryan has seen.
I don't think there's an edge in registering to draft against that guy right now. I think you simply let your opponents deal with his 150 auto draft. I don't think you want that. You don't really want to, because like, I don't know, for example, like let's say we had Josh Allen on this team or something. He could, before we got up the pick, he could snap off Shakir, who we'd want, Cooper, who we'd want, Dallas Goedert, who we'd want. Like it will occur often enough. It's like drafting against auto drafters and even BBM is annoying because you're not getting any followers.
Yeah, it's different if he's just like in there with some wacky rankings.
Rankings.
Yeah. Yeah, if he had Sutton and Nix, in the third and fourth round of every draft or something, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have some dead teams, I'm gonna have some cool combos. But he's just kind of destroying the rooms if he's just auto drafting off ADP. Because he's just getting in everybody's lane. So he's making everybody's team a little worse.
Yeah. Joel, are you saying this for the Sidekick or for the draft applet? Because in the Sidekick, you guys could put a denomination in the bar conference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like next, Mark Andrews, Baltimore, parentheses, AFC, Jordan Addison, parentheses, and something like that. I don't know exactly.
That's interesting.
I mean, we definitely want Andrews, right?
Yeah, Andrews is a smash.
Now,
and then Addison's pretty nice too.
Addison's really nice. Addison's who we want. I think I maybe would have preferred this team with Aaron Jones, but
didn't we take Aaron Jones?
Oh, we did. Never mind, dude. This team's sick. This team's sick.
Oh shit. Oh man.
So that'll happen, man. There should be positional limits. There should be I think there are positional limits now where it's like max you could take is 5.
Yeah.
I famously got sniped on Sion Vaki by myself. The computer wouldn't let me take Sion Vaki because I had set positional limits from fast drafting the puppy, so I got Geno Smith instead.
How much better pick is it?
I was so sad, man. I was so sad about it, though. I really wanted to be able to show up with some Sion Vaki.
That's so good. Sniped by yourself.
I think we're man. Another thing about these games is like, assuming you draft kind of like by the rules and stuff, you definitely will lose like a huge chunk of the time. Like,
right.
But you do know that what you're doing is at least theoretically profitable, which is nice. Although, I don't know, maybe it's such a dupe game now that it's less theoretically profitable. Based on what I've seen in these rooms, probably not.
I think it's still pretty profitable, and we don't know that it's a dupe game. That's kind of one of the fun things about it. It's like, it could be a dupe game. If it's the Bills Eagles, it's a dupe game.
Yeah.
If it's the Chiefs Lions,
way less of a dupe game.
It's a bit of a dupe game, but like, because you can't draft, you have to pick your players. So like, if you're building Chiefs Lions, maybe like getting Tim Patrick, skipping. There's different ways to do it, right? If you're drafting 5 total, you could like skip the middle of the draft, skip Xavier Worthy, skip DeAndre Hopkins, and add your Chiefs later, add some Lions later. You could add like a P. Ryan. There's ways to get more unique with which 5 players you're taking of those 2 teams.
You like Hawk here?
Nice. Yeah. Hawkinson Bateman is pretty
I think, okay. I was going to say Bateman is pretty important. I didn't realize we were on the turn. So Bateman we take first.
And then, I mean, Isaiah Likely's probably more important to the team because we do have Laporta. So we don't need the Vikings to actually get to the Super Bowl.
We don't need the Vikings, yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably take Likely.
Yep, I agree. The issue, I will say a clear issue is these 5-man Ravens teams. I mean, how many of these exist in the tournament? How many Lamar, Henry, Andrews, Bateman Likely teams are there? There are a shit ton. There are a lot.
There's a bunch.
I'm more on the Ravens.
What a great question.
Hey, they won a playoff game last year, man. They won a playoff game last year. And here's the deal.
They almost beat the Chiefs.
They almost beat the Chiefs. If they would have did the forward pass, they might have even done so. The Ravens are a more fantasy-friendly team this year than they've ever been because their defense is bad. So if the Ravens are live to win a single playoff game, now
Mark is cooking right now.
It's true.
Half the league.
The Panthers and the Raiders also almost beat the Chiefs. So Panthers, Ravens, they're all the same.
Oh man, that's so funny.
That is really good.
But I mean, to Mark's point, they're being overdrafted for their odds of actually making a run.
Yeah,
it's just fun. They're a fun team to imagine making a run. Compared to, but they're kind of no man's land in the odds. Like they're not one of the top 4 teams most likely to make the Super Bowl.
Who do they play? Who do they play this week?
Oh, they get the Steelers 2 weeks from now. I think the Giants, then the Steelers. I had it up earlier. Let me see.
They smoke the Giants. They put up 1 billion points against the Giants. They win against the Steelers at home, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Ravens!" This is a huge issue. Can we get rid of the kicker? Can we fix the kicker situation, please?
It's bad.
It's really, really bad, man. We got to do something about the kicker. The kicker is the biggest issue. Yeah. Hawkinson goes, so that's annoying. Hear me out. We have our 5 Ravens. I think taking weirdo NFC players is way better than taking Nelson Aguilar because we are now worried about dupage, right?
Yeah, but in the Super Bowl, so you want as many bullets. So I think Justice Hill's good because like maybe
then
it's
he
just
gives
not
you it gives you both. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not married to like Aguilar or that type of stuff. Like
I'm thinking like something we might want here is like a weirdo advance rate piece, like a Mike Evans or something, like a low drafted guy. Maybe the Bucks even win a round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I like that because this start, the Lamar, Henry, Andrews, Bateman Likely without Flowers is going to be Giga. It's going to be all over the place.
So this is like a move I don't normally do, where you're taking
I
NFC
never
team.
do stuff like this.
Yeah, because you got the Lions, you got the, but we have so many Ravens that we're covered with Ravens Lions, we're covered with Ravens Vikings, and then we're just hoping that like the Ravens are kind of, they win, but they don't like score that many points through the first couple rounds.
Yeah,
and they're like a little harder to advance, and that like Mike Evans helps us advance a team that other people they think they're covered, right? It's like I've got Henry, I've got Lamar, like I'm going to advance easily, but they're quiet, and Evans goes nuts, and we get it through. So I don't mind it.
All right, Kerrane, let's get out of here. Tell the people Legendary Upside, the Sidekick, where they can get it and how they can access it.
Yeah, legendaryupside.com/sidekick. You can read about it there. We also had an article up specifically talking about, the playoff best ball element that's on legendaryupside.com. You can check that out. Sacrilegious wrote, it's still on the front page. We republished it, so it'd be on the front page. Kind of the Bible on playoff best ball. I highly recommend checking that out. That's called the Sacrilegious Guide to Playoff Best Ball. You could just Google that, a Sacrilegious Guide to Playoff Best Ball. That'll come up. That, because like as you saw with the Sidekick, you do want to be thinking through this. It's not just like click the next name kind of thing. Like it's giving you kind of paths that you can kind of think through. Oh, do I want to do this? How does this pair with that? But strategically kind of like building teams the way you think, things are actually going to play out is like the whole fun of it. But Sacrilegious's article will really help you think through that type of stuff. But yeah, Sidekick, we got monthly, we got yearly. It's the same tool that does the Best Ball Mania and all the summer stuff. It works for DraftKings as well. So that's both for year-long and playoff best ball. We'll be launching our DraftKings stuff as soon as we can. We'll have, I think they're going to launch soon, and then we'll test for like a couple days to make sure it's actually doing what we want it to do, and then we'll get it out. So if your volume's on DraftKings, we'll have you covered there as well.
I'm going to do this show again tomorrow. If Kerrane or Sack or whomsoever is around, then they can hop on. But I'll be drafting some more playoff best ball teams tomorrow using my trusty Sidekick, one of the only tools I've ever listened to. Everyone, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out the Sidekick, and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Adios. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated.